You got him behind you, Pekka Rinne. You must have seen the come up at the very, very start when he's backing up in the American League, and then he rises to become the starter, the greatest, arguably the greatest player in Nashville Predators history, and then you join the broadcast team, and you watch him just put the team on his back, carry him all the way to the Mug final. What was that like?
Well, first of all, he's like just an unbelievable human. He's just the nicest. He's the best guy. I mean, you'd love him. He's funny. He's outgoing. He's kind. He's all the things. He's almost the perfect human being, really.
So pretty standard Scandinavian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But the first time I remember, the first time I saw him was at a training camp, and he comes over. He had one of the, I can't remember what European, he had this goofy European helmet on. That was back in the day where guys that big, he's 6'5", were all like big blockers. So they'd come and be like kind of robots. And this guy was a freak. Like, he was the most athletic, flexible, quick goaltender. I'd never really seen anybody like him that size. I think, he came in, he kind of revolutionized. That was kind of the part of goaltending that really changed, where these big guys are becoming athletes. And I just remember I told the goalie coach, I go, holy shit. I'm like, this guy is going to be a star. And I knew he was going to take my job one day, which was a few years later. But no, there's certain guys that you see. Vasilevsky was another one that when I saw him, I'm just like, wow. I'm like, it's like nothing you've seen before. And you know that, Travis, too, when you probably see certain guys, you're like, well, that guy can just do things that, most goalies can't do. And that's when I saw him, I just was blown away. And then, the position evolved so much, and he had obviously his athleticism, but he was really scrambly, relied on it too much, and he wasn't as positional. And UC Saros came up, and he is probably one of the most technical goaltenders. He's almost a perfect goaltender in a smaller frame. And Pekka, it's hard to change your genetics, your DNA, something that you've been doing for your whole life. He revamped his style, so he became a lot more controlled, a lot more. He still had the athleticism, but he was getting older. And that's when he won the Vezina. Like, he was struggling a little bit. It looked like Saros was probably going to take over, or maybe Pekka's days were done. And he completely changed his style. And that's not easy to do. And he was incredible at it, but he just dialed it in. He was so much more technical and just aware where he was in the net, going back to his posts, more upright. Like, Pekka's 6'5", but he'd play, down like this, crunched over, and brought his upper body up a lot more. And he ended up, winning the Vezina and going to the Stanley Cup Finals. So it says a lot about him, but he's got a work ethic like you wouldn't believe.
Okay, go ahead, and then I've got an Iron Maiden question. So hurry up, because I know he wants to hear this one.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember the season after you backed him up in 12-13, the lockout season, he had the hip surgery, the double hip surgery, and then he had the hip infection. And I think that was the start of him revamping and retooling his entire game, correct?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, he did, but it took him a while. Like, the goalie, they had to kind of, fight a little bit, I think, or there was some resistance there. And I think
it's Ben Vanderklook, right?
Yeah, it was a couple years after that. I think it was more when UC Saros got there. That might have been 2015, 16-ish is probably when the transition really took, it took place. And it was from then on, he was fully committed. But it was more when he saw Saros every day. When you're a goalie partner, you watch the other guy, and, you take things from other goalies that you like, or you try something, and, having that combination, which helped Saros too, because he was so technical, but he saw Pekka's ability to get out of structure, to be able to battle. There's certain times where you can be as technical as you want, but you got to scramble. You got to try to make the save no matter what the situation. And so I think it was, kind of a match made in heaven there. And it's helped, UC Saros, I think, too, just being able to have that skill set in his pocket as well. But I think it was 2015, 16 when Saros came, and that's kind of when it took over.
Well, I mean, obviously I have my biases, but when he totally just ran the team up the flagpole to the Cup final in 16-17, and then obviously playing Muzz and the Penguins in the final, that's probably got to be my favorite Cup final goalie matchup of the last decade, of two 6'5" guys going head to head. How many shutouts did you have? I think Muzz had back-to-back shutouts to start the series. Pekka had one in game 3, I think it was, and then Muzz had another one to finish off and close out the series. Like, what a goalie duo that was. And like you said, one of the most athletic. It's 6'5". I mean, I know firsthand, we break down fast. We're not built to last. We're kind of like Great Danes. We're bred for performance, not for a long time. And just the fact that he was able to do it for so long, so many wins, great style too as well. And 6'5", good-looking Scandinavian. Can't complain there.
Yeah, no, he's a legend. He really is. Like, and it's just the fact that he's such a great guy. I mean, we all know a bunch of guys that are, good guys. Most guys are good guys and great guys and whatever, but he was just he's one of the best guys I've ever played with, and had the work ethic. He cared so much. He never wanted to play for another team. Like, he was just the epitome of a pro hockey player, and just game, plus hilarious too. I'll tell you some stories off air one time if we ever get together in Winnipeg or whatever. But no, just an awesome guy.
I got to ask you, did you ever get him to do an ice plunge with you yet?
He does it, I think. He played like a pro game this year, actually. He's kind of like, he's a goalie consultant for the Preds in Europe. But yeah, he's still in great shape. I saw him at the beginning of the season, and yeah, he played a pro game, I think, this year. He still plays with a bunch of the alumni back in Finland.
Good for him.
Yeah, I think second division, they threw him right in the cooker. Hadn't played in God knows how long. 46 of 48, couple of big pad stops. Looked like classic Alabama.
Yeah, he looked good. Yeah, it's hilarious.
We do a hockey podcast called Sling the Biscuit every single Sunday. The clips, the bite-sized chunks are right here. Only the hits, the full-length show, which you don't want to miss, is right here. That's Dave. I'm Travis. We'll see you soon.